Hey you guys, this is Yolanda from Yology Holistic Wellness, and I'm just sort of making this video, I know it's been a while, to go over the difference between failure and mistakes. So failure and mistakes kind of get misconstrued within the same category. People often consider mistakes failures in general because it's like if they're inadequate or they're not good enough, they can't get it right, that it's just a poof and that there's something wrong with them. And that's the biggest misconception that we can have about ourselves, is that we're incapable of doing something, especially when life is a learning process. It takes several times to get it not right, because I don't want to say right, but to get to that point of where it's comfortable and it works for us, because nothing in life is perfect. So mistakes are simple. They're life lessons. They're things that we need to learn in order to ascend or accelerate our process into a higher vibration. It consists of learning, knowledge, building, and sometimes it's a lifelong journey, to get to that point. It's not going to be easy. Mistakes are just that. Failure, if you've ever heard that expression, failure is not an option. That is something that the 3D Matrix has made, promoted, to instill fear within our society of that if you're not good enough, you're never going to be good enough, and so you should just quit while you're ahead and not do anything. Find something else that that may be better for you in the long run. So failure is something that we're actually taught at a very young age. Failure is taught in school, for example, my kids in high school. So I didn't realize it, but just this year, you would think I would have gotten on, the concept of this, but I haven't, and just until this year. But if a high school student misses a day or two from being sick, they have to literally make those hours up, which means they have to take time from their after school schedule, whether it be sports, going home, reading, whatever, leisure stuff, playing video games. And they have to go to school to what's called like TLC and make up these hours. And so right then and there, we're being trained to work as a slave, competitive horse mentality, because if we're sick, that's a mistake. That's not a mistake. That's a failure that's on us, because we're inadequate of doing the job, because we're sick. So that's just an example. Another example is like car accidents. If you really want to go that route, every day there's car accidents. There are new drivers all the time, teenagers or young adults or new to it. Some of them are, like, what's the word? Some of them are not mindful of the road, and some of them are just plumb scared and in fear of getting on that road. So when they're in that fear, in that zone of like getting cut off, trying not to get hit, they have that fear mentality of already making a failure. Okay. And our system teaches that it's a failure if you do get into a car wreck, because you have to pay. Even if it's not your fault, you still have to pay if somehow it seems like you're at fault. And so that failure is we're not adequate enough of our driver. So our insurance rates goes up and we're seen as the bad guy. So it's like, those are just some of the examples of failure. Failure is everywhere. We're definitely taught that before even elementary school. Just like with the grades, if you're not good enough, if you don't get that A, you're not going to succeed in life. You're not going to amount to anything. You're going to end up on some blue collar labor worker, as a blue collar labor worker, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the mindset that each person has different qualities and different talents. But that is what our system is here to do. So it's really up to us to identify these failures and these mistakes, life lessons. These are learning curves. So if you have a kid that's in school, instead of scolding them for not getting the perfect A or not doing well enough, instead, it's a mistake. It's the chance to get it right. No problem. Try harder next time. You'll succeed. Same thing with everything else. Failure is very fearful. It's fear-based. It's going to mess with your mentality. It is almost a half spin-off to narcissism, because if you really think about it, when we go with the mindset of accusing someone of failure or being a failure ourselves, it kind of starts the roller coaster of emotional guilting, which is a form of self-narcissism or narcissism towards someone else, because it's sticking us back in that whole genre of I'm better than you if I'm making straight A's, or being the competitive type, but it does play a little bit with the narcissism mentality, either way you go. So those are just some of the things to look out for. So, when you're living your everyday life, allow yourself to make that mistake. If you make mistakes, sit with it. It gives you a chance to self-reflect and to really ask yourself and connect with yourself on what can I do to do better, or to what can I do to change the way that I'm doing it to get the outcome that I need. Life is test and trial and error. It is going to be that. It's not, if we were all perfect, we'd all be living in $1 million mansions with high rolling money coming in and living in luxury and all that stuff. But that's not the case. And so it's really important to know that you are good enough, that you do have the capabilities of what you need in order to prosper, be successful, and to excel in your life. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment or below. And if you know anyone who would benefit from this, please share. Have a great day. Namaste.